protection of nature in Israel, and then I give a few words about the role of NGOs on the Mediterranean.
Same birds?
Society for the Protection of Nature in Israel. Educate, love, protect. The Society for the Protection of Nature in Israel has been educating for the love of the land, protection, and preservation of its landscape and nature for 60 years. SPNI has taken action with the public and for the public in promoting quality of life in Israel in the present and for future generations. Our counselors, teachers, and guides educate each year hundreds of thousands of children and youth for the love and protection of nature and the environment in programs that include hands-on experience, fun, and learning. We function in dozens of centers nationwide. Thousands of participants of all ages take part in the activities and influence the environment near their home. In field schools across the country, from the Hermon in the north to Eilat in the south, a wide range of activities take place. Hikes and excursions, study tours and educational recreation for groups, families, and individuals. SPNI connects Israelis and visitors from all over the world to Israel's natural heritage, its fauna and flora. Our trail committee initiated, mapped, and marked Israel's trails, including the Israel National Trail. Thousands of kilometers of trailblazing throughout Israel's most magnificent landscapes and ecosystems. Our experts operate a national situation room that offers operational and safety and security information in real time to hikers and travelers. All these make Israel's nature accessible to Israelis and visitors alike. As Israel's primary environmental organization, we lead a vision for sustainable use of natural resources, promoting responsibility for future generations. Our experts offer sustainable solutions for development to protect open spaces that still remain. Together, we advocate for a stronger civil society and encourage the involvement of the public in urban planning. We have led many public campaigns for the protection of nature and the environment. Over the years, SPNI has registered many successes. Through 6 decades of wide range of activities, a variety of educational programs, dozens of recreational and educational centers, many successes in protection and preservation of nature and the environment, thousands of employees and professional volunteers, and hundreds of thousands of members. SPNI is the oldest, largest, and leading environmental organization in Israel. Join us. Help us protect nature and preserve natural Israel. Society for the Protection of Nature in Israel. Educate, love, protect.
So, I'm in the SPNI. I work in natural protection department of the organization. I am also involved in the ELA that are with us. I'm going to talk about the role of NGOs in the protection, of course, around the Mediterranean give a few minutes about the goals that the SPNI took as a part of the Mare Nostrum to build an NGOs and local groups network which operate as a watchdogs network around the Mediterranean. NGOs have different definitions in different countries. However, most of the NGOs are promoting independent agenda using relations with different stakeholders, and we can classify them in several ways. For example, by the orientation. For instance, we can talk about NGOs which are interested in environmental issues, NGOs which are interested about human rights. We can also classify them by the hierarchy of the operation. For instance, we have international NGOs, national, regional NGOs, and of course, local NGOs. Local groups many times are not instituted as the NGOs, but by local group I mean and talk about groups of residents which are interested in specific area and many times also in specific agenda. So we can talk about the level of operation, about the organizations and NGOs, from international NGOs and organizations until the local groups and small groups and NGOs. From the other end, we can talk about the public which the NGOs are working for. But the public is not a concrete thing. We can talk about different publics. We can talk about the local public and the national public, the basin as a whole, for instance, the public of the Mediterranean coast public, and of course the world population as a whole. Between the organization and the public in the different scales, we can find sensitive net since different organizations talk in the name of different scale of publics. And I will explain it and demonstrate it later. I give a few examples from Israel about different NGOs and local groups which operate in Israel. And I'll start with Greenpeace. Greenpeace is international NGO which concentrate on global environmental issues, as climate change, for instance. And accordingly, the Israeli branch of Greenpeace concentrate in the same issues. I want to point out an optional tension between the operation of international NGO when it operates in the national level of Israel. For instance, in Israel, Greenpeace promote the use of renewable energy, despite those energy consume wide open spaces in Israel which are rare. Another NGO which operates in Israel is Tzalul. It means clear in English. And it's a national NGO which concentrate and dedicated to the protection of seas and rivers in Israel. The organization cooperates with local groups using methods as activism, reports, campaigns, in the name of the public, of the Israeli public as a whole. Adam Teva Bedin, the Israeli Union for Environmental Defense is another national NGO which focus on national and local issues and use mainly litigation legislation tools. And again, we operate in the name of the Israeli public as a whole, all the public of Israel, but also involved with small communities and groups that ask his help by promoting their own agenda and interest. Now we come to the SPNI. We saw the movie, so we understand what the SPNI, but I want to concentrate in the sensitive work of the SPNI in Israel, because we have a national actions and agenda and operation, but we also have about 30 local units all around Israel, and the operation in the national level, but also in the local level, made tension between the interest of small and local groups that are many times different from the national interest that the organization defines them. And I take the example that Ariel raised yesterday about the electrifying of the train in Haifa, and it comes to a discussion between the local units, the local needs, as represented by our local units in Haifa, which in Bali and Ella works in, and the national infrastructure goal as we see it in the national level of the organization, because we want to improve the public transportation in Israel.
I don't know if people understood you. Can I say that in another way?
Please?
Or maybe we should have a test, baseline knowledge.
I understood it.
You understood?
I understood it.
Amazing.
There's more people that do.
Well, I don't know. That is a nice demonstration, a good demonstration of conflict between local level perception of the environment and national level goals of the very same NGO. I'm also speaking here as a former member of the Israel Planning Board, National Planning Board, receiving the lobbying requests of the various NGOs. At the national level, tells us, Dror tells us, at the national level, the overall goal is to increase public transportation, more people on public transportation, and especially train, because it is cleaner than buses. In Haifa, the train, you saw, conflicts with the coastline, the Mare Nostrum's attention of the coastline. So, which one prevails?
Which is the local
Okay.
problem.
Yeah, as a local, exactly, as a local problem. The local activists, superb activists in Bal and Ella, want to, they're joining the municipality quite rarely, as they said, a joint issue. The mayor has told me that he's willing to go to war against the National Planning Board on this issue. Well, I'm exaggerating. At this time of the day, we definitely need drama in order to get rid of that train, or to perhaps to tunnel it. So the national level may not have supported Ella and Iqbal as enthusiastically as in other occasions. And in fact, the train electrification has been delayed somewhat. Not because of you, you're lucky though, but what would you do if it were delayed? because of you, then you and Dror would fight it out. Anyhow, never a dull moment. You also mentioned briefly another topic that I think the audience would not have understood. You said solar energy and size. Well, it's not obvious, certainly not obvious in Greece, or in Spain, or in Turkey, or in France, or Italy, where there's a lot of land. In Israel, there isn't enough space to put the solar energy sites, and that's a conflict between an NGO who wants to protect open space for open space, and at the same time would like more alternative energy.
Yes, as I demonstrate.
Yes, I know, but the demonstration, you see, for people to understand, you need to, people understand 20%, I mean, people retain 20% of what one says. And if one says it in 30 seconds at a context that's totally different from their own, that's not going to be retained.
The tension inside the SPNI between the local units and the national units just example of the tension between, in general, national NGOs and local groups, which is something that many times we don't talk about it. Now I want to exemplify, to bring two examples for a cooperation between the national and local groups, and another example which there was disagreement between those levels. The first one is the מאבק להצלת פלמחים, Save פלמחים. פלמחים it's a coast in the south part of the Mediterranean coast of Israel, which an hotel was planned to be built on. It's a beautiful, untouched coast, and the local residents established a local group which against that initiatives of the hotel. And they were, many activists followed this group, and also national NGOs was joined that struggle. Eventually, that plan was cancelled, and it is emphasized the power of local groups to lead a success struggle again and to save their interests. And it also demonstrates the power of the cooperation between different levels of organization. Contrary is the example of other local group which formed to struggle against the initiative to locate natural gas infrastructure in the Carmel coast. It's a few kilometers south of Haifa.
Sure. Since you're giving examples of coast issues, emphasize that. This is marine and coast. This is not just, it's a good example for Mare Nostrum.
Okay.
Well,
in that area, there is an initiative to put natural gas infrastructure that comes from the sea into the shore and inland in Israel, and the residents of the Carmel coast are struggles against it and push it away from the area. And contrary to their willing to do it, the SPNI believe that natural gas is too important for the energy economy of Israel, as it much less pollute fuel. So this is an example for disagreement between local groups that try to protect their interests, their local interests. In that instance, the interest near the coastline, to the national interest as the SPNI as a national organization sees. Now, after I gave a few examples, I want to talk in a few minutes about the goal that the SPNI see in the project of Mare Nostrum.
Mediterranean network of work.
We want to establish a Mediterranean watchdog of local groups and the NGOs, which are, of course, there are civil society groups which are interested in the act for the coastal protection, preservation, and use different public tools such as campaigns, petition, demonstration, and many other tools, and to build the network of watchdogs civil society. I think that that kind of network have a significant role while we want to manage coastal zone and as they protect the interest of the local communities and the interest of the nation. We have a few open questions that, of course, we can deal and discuss about them. And the first one, maybe the most important, it's what are the core issues of that kind of network. For example, it can concentrate only on ecological and environmental issues, and it can also include fisheries issues or maybe urban planning issues. The second open question is how it will function. How it will function, I mean that we can just organize a list, but we can also establish an internet platform for cooperation and many other options, which I will be happy to hear if you have any needs in the local in your countries or municipalities. And the last question is what will be the network actions? It can organize conferences and workshops. It can make a joint action and campaigns for the protection of the Mediterranean. All those questions, as I said, are open, and we can, of course, discuss it in the next few months. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions, please?
Yes.
Please. Just wait for the microphone, please.
Thank you, Dror, for excellent presentation. My question about the national protection of seas and rivers in Israel. This is one of the object of your associations. I wonder about the Jordan River. Everybody knows Jordan River is a holy river. The baptism sites in both sides, in the Jordanian side and in the Israeli side and in the Palestinian side. Unfortunately, the sewage water from the three sides pumping to that river. Do you have any program in the SPNI SPNI to rehabilitation or to rehabilitate this river?
Let me take over,
Thank you.
if I may. I suggest that we leave this for coffee time.
Yeah.
Perhaps it wasn't clear enough that our goal in Mare Nostrum, which SPNI has been assigned, is to try and create a Mediterranean-wide NGO of NGOs. And the examples were about Israel, but the topic is not Israeli
Yes,
issues,
it
and
wasn't
certainly not.
clear enough.
Yeah.
Of course, it's
Certainly
all
not
about
away
the
from the
Mediterranean,
coast.
not only Israel.
Yes,
Of course.
so now the questions that you had are very good, and I would add a major one right now, that is language. I think the shared language around the Mediterranean is Arabic, isn't it? No, the majority of the countries with one single shared language, wouldn't that be Arabic? Right? Anyhow, but the question of language is a major one. To add to this, what language platform, and now we would like responses, and SPNI group and Dror have said, if we're to launch this as part of the Mare Nostrum project, to try and launch it, try to think for your countries, and that includes the entire Mediterranean, certainly those represented here now, and Jordan is our liaison for North Africa. Jordan is our platform in this project for North Africa. How to get to NGOs, how to, what should be that is Mare Nostrum's next steps? How feasible it is in Turkey with Turkish language NGOs? What would draw Greek NGOs? What would draw Spanish NGOs? What would draw Malta NGOs? Do we have the Maltans here now? Yes, Maltan NGOs. That's the feedback you want right now. So you can think about North Africa now. And yes.
Hi, this is Nina Fararaj. I come from Turkey. My NGO is WWF.
What does it stand for? Oh yeah.
Worldwide Fund for Nature. It's a panel with the panel logos. Everybody knows
That's
about
a
that.
global NGO.
Yeah, global NGO.
Like Greenpeace.
Yes, actually, I suggest to something about how you can start to make a big NGOs group in the Mediterranean. Maybe you can start with it exists some network already in the Mediterranean. For example, Metplan. For example, Pegaso, Medcoast. There are lots of network, but they are not just NGO network. Yes, and actually also when you collect all the data, these network data, you can see that every country has some of them international NGOs, some like WWF, some of them local NGO. Mostly local NGO couldn't speak English or other language, so you can use like WWF offices. The Italy, Spain, Greece, France, Tunisia, Algeria has a WWF office, so they have already have a connection lots of local NGOs. So it's a good bridge to the others.
International NGOs.
Yes. Of course. Also, what else? I can say that in Turkey there are two big big NGO they work about internationally integrated coastal zone management. One of them WWF, because we are working on that more than 30 years actually, and also the max costs.
Which is more academic.
Yes, they are more academic, but they have a good connection with the local NGOs as well. So,
Can you add a little bit more about, now you told us about how to reach the NGOs, and in fact, the group is working there, but what would attract them to be active? Supposing you reach them.
maybe funds, money. You know, all NGO needs the money to draw their project. So
propose another EU project to get funding for this.
yes.
Yes.
About what will attract the local NGOs, I think that that kind of network can be a very effective tool if it will act properly and strengthen the local groups which are most of the time pretty weak. And maybe this is the attraction of that kind of network.
Interesting. So you were saying being a member of the network is the reward. So that's
maybe not in all the cases, but maybe it can be
That's what we were hoping.
an effective way to act.
more strategizing. And we'll get to everybody. Do you have time for the strategy? This was the idea of the
Well, I would,
Excuse me. I have one more suggestion. Maybe you can create websites, and maybe you can promote to website, which is please come to be members this partnership, so you can find some opportunity to make a new project and good relationship. You can find the partnership kind of things.
Make partnerships to get more EU money. Yes. Let's see. Later, we have hands up, so show your interest in it. I'm Dan from Jordan.
Thank you very much. I think it's a very good idea to have a network. We as SAPT have very good experience in working with different networks in Mediterranean, especially with NGOs in Tunisia, Morocco, Egypt, Libya, Syria, and Lebanon, and of course with Turkey. And recently, 2 months ago, I was here in Turkey, and we were I'm very, very sorry. Very sorry. But it's the similarity of the Mediterranean. But anyway, the theme of the meeting was about something called dying lakes. And we were invited by Dugan, it's an NGO, a Turkish NGO, and they presented the lake Burdur Lake, and I presented the Dead Sea as a dying lake.
The Dead Sea has led all the dying lakes. It took the word Dead Sea, it wrote it in the internet as belonging to itself.
Yeah, but anyway, and we had a representative from SPNI. He represented the Hula Lake, and we had a representative from Lebanon and from Cape, who they also represented. And we were in the same situation where we decided to do a platform. And we thought the first thing to do is to establish a Facebook, because Facebook does not cost anything. Yeah.
But what attracts them?
I think what attracts them is to look for champions. In each NGO, you will find champions who don't look for money. Money is very important, I understand. But there are people who are facing the same issue. When I go to Aqaba or when I fly over Beirut, and you see how much destruction of the coast, you feel you need to do something. There are people in Lebanon and probably in North Africa and in the Mediterranean, Adriatic Sea and other parts that want to do something. So we need to be like a catalyzer to attract and get these people together. And I think small things start, big ideas start with small steps, yes.
Lots of work with North Africa, well, at least in North Africa. Okay, now we had Greece again.
Just to say that in order to collaborate, NGOs should start from simple things. And my proposal is the coast day. It's something simple. It can be organized in all the countries, in different sites, and through this, some simple activities like the Coast Day.
Coast Day.
The Coast Day, 24th of October.
We usually have to move it. It falls on the new year.
Why?
Why it falls on the new year, I don't know.
It's 24. So yes, a solution should be found. But with such simple things, collaboration could start. So the next step would be projects and find market for it.
Okay.
Actually, the cost day maybe you can thinking may be like a good day to make about
The announcement.
8 months from now a big event of that network. I don't know what thing. Maybe.
We have a cost in Israel, and I just heard that there is another one, and it's so important things to do. So it would be a wild, an international cost day.
Yes.
No, I mean like in Israel too,
Yeah.
and to add more countries through this network, it's going to be awesome.
Now, Malta, do you want to add? What would, okay, now Portugal. We have this, just like the European Union can decide that Jordan is on the Mediterranean, for me it's much easier to decide that Portugal is on the Mediterranean. It's much closer to the Mediterranean than Jordan is. What? Okay, now what would draw something, where is, okay, fine, I'll go to Spain. Fine. What could attract Spanish NGOs, if anything, to spend time and money and maybe not much money and be active in an NGO on Mediterranean NGOs?
To spend time.
To spend something, energy, time, money, to pay attention, to do something, to be active.
Okay, I really don't know. Maybe the fact or the proposal of celebrating the Coastal Day would be a starting point to foster a further collaboration. Let's say start saying we are going to make a joint action this day, and then we'll see, keep in touch and go on for further collaboration. Also, I think nowadays actions through the web and platforms like Things.org, for example, which allow to submit many claims to decision makers. Petitions, yes. Yes, because if you are
Mediterranean action.
No, I mean, if you are a local group, maybe you can get, I don't know, 3,000 petitions on one issue. But if you are linked to other partners, maybe
a very practical proposal. I would like market it as empowerment for small community organizations. You want empowerment? Join us. And then to go to push it forward, if it's a huge network, try to gain the status of an objector, of the observer in ECOSOC, which is part of the United Nations, and then you can start really having an impact. So I mean, that could be a long-term goal, to gain observer status at ECOSOC. Yeah, I'm talking to everybody, NGOs, right? NGOs. So that would be one way of attracting them. Say, power is, all these small organizations together, it's like power, empowerment.
More from Turkey. Fast one, you've been here, no ideas probably.
Excuse me, Professor Alderman, do you mind if we move on to the next presentations and then we go through these?
Great idea!
Okay, because it's the last one.
Okay, great idea.
Okay, can I ask for the Air Coast Fishermen's Association to come to the floor, please? This is an organization